Um, hey, hey there. I have an
Take two.
update. This is take two because I did it wrong the first time. Radiation has started, and it was
It's
not a joy to do, but it was made easier by the techs who are there because they do it all day, every day, and well, every day but weekends and holidays. Um, and so it was made easier with them seeing me. Uh, it's not great to be in a mask and not be able to swallow, but I found that drinking a lot of water beforehand helps, and I didn't revolt against the mask once I got used to it. But I'm going to give you an update on currently radiation is on hold, and there's a lot of reasons why. And even though Claire will write this out in on the CaringBridge site. I want to give you all some um, context to it. She's going to give more detail. The big picture is that radiation is currently on hold, and I did 2 weeks of radiation. Um,
7 days.
well, it was 2 weeks in the first update whenever Claire played editor, and I I get weekly blood draws, and that's a routine thing to monitor in the blood if certain factors and how they're being affected by radiation. And the blood draws found that the radiation, which will affect my platelet counts and that they'll decrease, um, they were decreasing at like a faster rate than is normal. And so I had too low of platelet counts to go on with the radiation. They want to solve that problem. Um, First. So a normal range is 150,000 to 400,000, I think, of platelet counts. And I'm smiling because Claire is like, what?
No good.
And so my platelet counts on Wednesday with the weekly blood draw was 44,000, which is not critical. I feel fine, as fine as you can feel with this, um, with these therapies and stuff. But it was like low enough to stop radiation and fix that problem of low platelet counts first. So they switched me off. I was on an anti-seizure prevention drug, and they switched it to another one. The first one in a minority of patients has the effect that it drops platelet counts. I may be that person, but I don't have a. When I was healthy, I didn't get my blood drawn regularly, as probably all y'all don't. And so I don't have a count of like what my platelet counts should be, but they're negatively affected by this. The thought right now is like if this drug is the culprit and switching drugs is the solution, we'll see an upward trend in the platelet counts, and we can restart radiation in a different way that would not affect platelet counts so much because the majority is formed of platelets are formed in the spine and pelvis because where the densest of bone is, and I actually don't know why. I assume that, but so we'd start back with the brain that we were always going to do, just the bed of the tumor, and then for 2 weeks, and then go back to the spine and brain, and there would be a week gap in between, which is not ideal. You don't want to have any gaps in radiation, um, but it's what has to happen. And if the anti-seizure drug that I was on, the first one, anti-seizure drug A, um, if that's not the culprit, then I would go to a hematologist to find out what could be affecting my platelet counts this much. Um, I also got I got a blood draw on Friday morning, and my platelet counts were not up. In fact, they were down, but that was after irradiation happened. So the first blood draw was on Wednesday morning. The second one was on Friday morning, and I had received radiation in between, which will affect the platelet counts. So it's not surprising, but it's it was frustrating. It was more frustrating Wednesday night to find out that the platelet counts were down when I feel fine. But by Friday morning, like I'd reminded myself that first of all, I got it out of my system. I that emotional um, reaction fit, um, and then I reminded myself that like cancer is complicated, and even these well-educated, experienced, well-trained people can uh, encounter a problem that they have to fix first. And so, other than the ideal scenario. So I don't know. I felt better after going to the weekly C visit that my doctor told me on Friday morning. Like, yeah, this is a problem that we need to fix first. So that I think is radiation. Is there stuff that I'm forgetting?
No.
No. So I'll leave rehab for last, and I'll sandwich in some thank yous to my dad, whose birthday it was yesterday on Friday, um, because he and Mary and my mom have been taking me to a lot of appointments, and like I basically have appointments right now between MD Anderson, radiation, the main building, and the proton therapy center. The main building is where I do blood draws. The proton therapy center is where I get proton therapy, you would guess. And a tier is where I do rehab. These things take all day, and I'm sure that they didn't want to spend their retirement this way. But they're driving me to these appointments, which I can't drive myself, obviously, and so it's nice to have the company and the help. Um, Kristen Latta also drove me to a day's worth of appointments, and it was helpful to have her um, go to those appointments and just see, um, just to have new company, and then also like I could talk to her about things. Jennifer McCaleb helped out around here with Claire and me. She took me to, I think, at least a blood draw, and with Theo. And my cousins, Chelsea and Angel, my friends coming to see me, and all the meals that we get. Um, this will be a bit of an inside joke, but it was exactly like the end of Dumb and Dumber. My cousin Angel like wanted to confirm my email address with me, and so he texted me like, "What is your email address?" And having to think about it, it's like the end of Dumb and Dumber where you know the right way and you just point the wrong way. And I told him my email address in exactly the wrong way. Um, and so I had to fix that this morning.
And Esther for the Uber.
Oh yeah, yeah, and
Esther and Roger.
Esther and Roger, uh, for a for a thing that shall be Uber, um, uh, Uber gift cards, and it's that is very helpful. Also, Claire, who's right here, like she's laying down, and and she's got a sharp mind, and I forget important questions. In we've got so many appointments, and she came to the ones where I had to talk a lot, and and she always remembers questions that I can't remember, and she and wouldn't have even thought of, but are important. And she deals with bills and deals with lots of separate entities, and this process is convoluted at the least. So it's very helpful. We went on a date Thursday night to Nancy's Hustle restaurant in Edo, and she parked on the other side of the street. Probably how many feet was that? I don't know. It was at least 100 feet. That I walked. She held out her arm, and I didn't like. I didn't support myself with it, but just told myself where gravity was. There's some part of this that is a mental block to walking, and I was able to walk to the restaurant, and that felt really good, getting to use my legs again. Um, um, so a big shout out to her, and as always to Theo and the Currys for watching Pico because he's still not with us. Because I can't walk him because he dragged me. I see lots of people who help me, outpatient therapists, so that's OT, speech and physical, and neuropsychologist at outpatient, and a case manager. There are 5 radiation techs, and they owe me, or I owe them, a big thank you and shout out. Um, uh, there's 5. You only have 4 on the day. I think one they do like long shifts, um, and one always has a day off. I think this is getting convoluted and long.
Just wrap
I'll wrap it up with it was a good feeling with rehab. I walked really fast. I found that, or I was told that it's easier to, like, you don't have to think about balance as much, and you just can get faster with walking when you get into a rhythm. So I walked these long hauls with Daniel, who is my physical therapist. He evaluated me, but he was standing in for Stacy on Friday, and I walked the hallways of TR outpatient, like, really fast for me. Like, I don't know. I didn't have a pace car, so I couldn't see if it's fast for my mom, who walks really fast. But it was like I had a rhythm, and I wasn't holding on to anything, and I just was walking, and it feels good to use your legs again. Um, so so even though cancer is a big question mark. Cancer treatment is a big question mark of uncertainty and stuff. It feels good to go to rehab to um, do stuff. Oh, and my last, and make improvements and have something that you can work on. My last thank you is, okay, I got to tell you about this. So Ann Brady cut my hair, and she had a 20 razor from her dad. I'll put that hat back on. And to all the guys, so I had long hair before this, and I was counting on that inch or two of puff on the top. And in radiation, your hair falls out. So where I'm doing it in the brain, my hair is supposed to fall out. So I just was like, I need a haircut, and I want a funny person to shave it. So Anne, I asked Anne to do it, and she has a razor that is a 20. So for the first pass, I said that I was going to do it as a tribute to Hal Hecht and Homer Simpson, to leave the sides long, and at first pass we left it that way, and then I thought better of it, and
I'll attach a picture on the post.
yeah, and it was ugly, and it's gonna get ugly, but I would have to have it like be a joke for a long time, and so she went shorter on second pass, like she shaved off the sides and then shaved off the top. This is a 5, so I think that razor must be broken. I'm not blaming Anne. I'm not blaming her dad. I'm blaming that razor, because this is a 5, and or this, according to the razor, it was a 5, and according to me, it's a 1 or 0. So thank you to her for cutting this hair as short as it can go. Oh. Goodbye.